You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. This is my last episode of the day. I've done two others today. They were my prospect interviews. I had Jaden Woodby out of Boston College, and I also just had Jeremy Lucian out of Vanderbilt on the channel. Great interviews from both of those guys. Make sure you check that out if you have not yet. But now, the moment you guys have all been waiting for, talking about the 49ers free agency moves from today. It's Wednesday, March 15th, and today was the official first day of free agency for the NFL. The previous 2 days have just been the legal tampering period, so it was just the days of being able to negotiate contracts, agree to terms. Today, all that became official. So, what did the 49ers do today? Well, they signed former Raider first-round pick Clenin to a one-year deal. I like this signing. I really do. And God, I'm kicking myself because I forgot who I was on with. It was someone else. I was on their channel, and I think it was Pete. He brought up that the 49ers could bring in someone like Clenin because he's pointing out to the fact that, the Raiders, the 49ers have signed former Raiders before as reclamation projects, example, Arden Key. So he was kind of thinking, Clenin could definitely be a guy they look into. It's almost like they like looking at guys who have underperformed, where they played before, underperformed, maybe like their draft, where they were selected in the draft. Clenin definitely falls under that. Not that he's terrible, but for being a first-round pick, definitely has not panned out the way I think the Raiders wished that he would. And so this is the perfect low-risk, high-reward reclamation project for Chris Koserick. That's why I love this move. Now, I still don't think the 49ers are done at edge yet. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, the 49ers lost Samson Ebukam. Ebukam went to the Colts. Well, the 49ers lost Charles Omenihu. Omenihu went to the Chiefs. That one hurts. But I think they still have more guys to add for their defensive line edge rotation. And so Clenin definitely fits into that. And as some have pointed out, he could play some spots in the interior as well. He has that versatility. So this is a good pickup for the 49ers. And again, I still think they bring in or try to bring in one of the veterans that's out there. A lot of good names still out there for the edge free agency class. So I expect the 49ers to still be in the market. But Clenin to a one-year deal, not so bad. Not so bad at all. Now, couple moves or another move the 49ers made, we actually just heard about this one, is that the 49ers signed Isaiah Oliver, cornerback, on a 2-year deal. He spent his career with the Falcons since he was drafted in 2018. He's a former second-round pick. So kind of also a guy who has underperformed a little bit, hence the reason why the Falcons were okay with, letting him walk and test free agency. But I like this move. I like this move a lot for a lot of people. He was a draft crush back in that 2018 draft, and I see some upside with this one. He figures to be in the mix for the nickel corner position, a position that the 49ers needed to address because, as we were talking about, Lenore obviously going to be playing on the outside with Emmanuel Mosley leaving to the Lions. So that kind of leaves you just with Samuel Womack and Quantrez Knight competing for that nickel spot. Not that it's terrible, but I like that they're bringing in a guy with a little more experience to the table and letting him compete. And as of right now, just because he has that experience, I kind of like Oliver to start, but we'll just have to see how it shakes out once we get to the OTAs, training camp, and all that, because sometimes there's those guys that surprise you in their second year. Who knows? Maybe Samuel Womack will be a guy who hits a stride, makes that second year leap, sophomore leap. So we'll just have to wait and see. But I love that signing for the 49ers. And again, it's a 2-year deal. So he's going to be in the mix for sure. At worst, it's depth. I mean, and I keep getting questions from people saying, is he good? Is he any good? He was good enough to pick off Jimmy Garoppolo last season. Do we forget about that? All right. There's your answer right there. So I like this signing. 2 signings today that I really like. I think it's just great value picks for the 49ers. Now, we don't know the numbers for either of these deals yet. I believe all we've gotten are the years so far. 2 years for Oliver, 1 year for Clenin and Farrell. But I have to imagine that this is going to be value. These are going to be value signings for the 49ers. Another thing to keep in mind, Isaiah Oliver is only 26 years old. He's also played on the outside, so he can add depth to the outside as well, even if he isn't the starting nickel. So that's high upside for the 49ers. Like I said, he's young. He hasn't, quite played to his, draft position, which was in the second round. Has a chance to catch on with a team, a defense that's very deep. And so I think this is a great spot for him to maybe find a second wind here. One thing, so Nick, I'm looking at tweets right now. Nick Wagner pointed out that Oliver was limited to 16 games the past 2 years because of a torn right ACL that he suffered in 2021. But he played well in slot surrounding that, should have a chance to compete with Samuel Womack. So there is some injury history there, and that's why I think there will be some value to this signing. But all in all, like I definitely like it. And I'm anxious to see what the 49ers do next. I expect things to happen a little bit slower from here on out, just because at this point, most of the top free agents have already signed. Now it's more so figuring out, there's a little more talking involved. And, teams aren't exactly in a rush to sign certain guys. Darius Slay was released by the Eagles earlier this afternoon. There was some talk that the 49ers, I'm not sure if what I can say about that report so much, but it would make sense if the 49ers would be interested in Darius Slay because Emmanuel Mosley signed elsewhere, but he would cost a pretty penny. Do the 49ers have that to spend? Don't know. They would definitely have to do some other restructures if they would like to sign a guy like Darius Slay. It would be an all-in kind of move, which I would not hate for them right now. But there would be a lot of other actions that would have to happen before, they can make a big move like that. And I'm sure a lot of teams are going to be in on Darius Slay. So keep that in mind. I'll keep tabs on it. I mean, who knows? Just because they signed Isaiah Oliver doesn't mean they can't sign another outside corner. So keep that in mind. Look, another guy who the 49ers lost in free agency, Daniel Brunskill, Arden Key. Both of those guys ended up going to the Titans. The Titans are making some moves. Rand Carthon, man. Azeez Al-Shaair signed with the Titans yesterday. So lots of moves being made by Rand, new Titans GM. I like the moves that he's making so far. So good for him. Daniel Brunskill, versatile offensive lineman. Aaron Donald killer. We're going to miss that aspect, but hopefully Aaron Donald only has another year to play or so. And then Arden Key. Arden Key was a guy I was kind of hoping the 49ers would bring back, on a team-friendly deal. But again, with Rand Carthon out there, with D'Amico Ryans out there, it makes sense that some of the guys that they probably in most other cases would have been able to keep are being poached away from those guys. So the 49ers have a little bit of extra competition for some of their remaining free agents. And as I mentioned, Charles Omenihu went to the Chiefs. That one hurts. Ebukam to the Colts. So yeah, like I said, the 49ers still going to be in the edge market, I would expect. And another notable bit of news, the 49ers did not tender a restricted free agent, Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles, one guy who I was kind of mentioning would be in the competition for that extra linebacker spot. Now, of course, the fact that they did not tender him seems like a big vote of confidence for Marcelino McCrary Ball, who I did like in training camp a lot last training camp. But, are they just giving him that spot, or do they plan to bring in another linebacker? Do they plan to, bring in a free agent? I don't know. I just thought it was interesting that they let Demetrius Flanagan-Fowles walk. So he's now an unrestricted free agent because the 49ers did not tender him. And so who knows? Maybe they are or will be in the market for a free agent linebacker, at least, again, a value. A value free agent, but they also have Oren Burks. There's other options there as well. So maybe the 49ers feel happy with who they have already as well. That's, of course, always a possibility. Now, I'm going to continue to keep tabs on what the 49ers have going on, but it seems like right now those are the top two moves that the 49ers have made today. The 49ers did restructure Fred Warner's contract within the last day. And of course, that was to create more cap space. That keeps them under the cap space as of right now. So they have, of course, we don't know the numbers for Clenin Farrell and Isaiah Oliver yet. So who knows if the Fred Warner restructure, if the signings of Oliver and Clenin Farrell took that free money that was created from Fred Warner restructuring. But I have to think if the 49ers make more moves, you're probably going to see more restructures happen. That, or maybe there's some trade or they release someone. I don't know. But they are going to have to free up some cap space if they want to make some more moves. The good thing is, like I said, at this point, you're getting to the value free agent signings, the ones that hopefully won't cost you too much money. Or, if you sign some of these guys to multi-year deals, a lot of the things the 49ers have been able to do is keep the cap hit for this year low while, increasing it over time. So that's always an option for them. They like to kick the can down the road, which we can't argue with. It's been working for them. So Parag, man, he just knows what to do. All right. So at this point, those are the moves that the 49ers have made. Going to continue to keep an eye on it. I'm going to be live again tomorrow. And I've been teasing a special guest on the podcast for tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Pacific. I'm ready to announce it right now. You guys who are watching this live are going to be the first to find out who's going to be on live with me tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific. It's going to be ESPN Stephania Bell, and we are going to be talking about Brock Purdy's injury timeline, Trey Lance's recovery and his injury history, and just a number of different things as well. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow, 10 a.m. Pacific. I will have ESPN Stephania Bell on the channel. She's an injury specialist. Definitely someone qualified to talk about injuries, someone who I would trust with, this kind of injury medical opinions with Brock Purdy and whatnot. So yeah, make sure you guys tune in tomorrow morning to check that out. You don't want to miss it. But as of right now, I think I pretty much said everything I needed to for the free agency period so far today. And keep an eye out for more lives tomorrow. All right. Have a good rest of your Wednesday, folks. Peace.